And here's the final update on my water cooling build. Here's the computer. Put a fan controller in the front to control the two back fans. I'm going to show you some performance data on the windows over there of how stuff runs, and overclock settings, and then I'll show you inside in a minute. First off, you can probably notice how it's fairly quiet while it's running. I want to talk about the radiator first. This is a 30 FPI radiator, 30 fins per inch, which is supposedly supposed to be one of the thickest, densest radiators that is made. And everybody online has been telling me that you need a 4,000 RPM fan or higher to use this. Blah blah blah, and it's apparently not. I'm finding out that's not the answer. I'll show you in a minute. What I've found out is these fans I have do not cool any better at 100% speed than they do at half speed. So half speed on these fans is all this radiator needs to hit peak cooling performance. I'll demonstrate it here in a moment. Just a minute, let me get sat down and I'll show you some things. This is the fan I have. Well, that's not good. Thermaltake Smart Case Fan 2, 120 millimeter. This is the specs. They are only 2600 millimeter fans. Oh, that's horrible. There we go. And 6.57 MMO H2O on air pressure, which I guess is enough. Alright, some more performance data. First off, this is stock speed on this processor. It's a E3110 Wolfdale 45 nanometer dual core. Its stock speed is 3 gigahertz. Here is the idle speed in Windows, idle temperature. Idle is about 35 C. Core temps over here, and IDA 64 claim that it's running at 31 C, but this one says 35, so I don't know. Let me start up something and put it at load and show you load temps. W prime. Let me get alright, sorry for the shakiness. Here it's running W prime. You can see in Task Manager it's 100%. ADA 64 says load temp is 37C, 36. CPU temp is 39. Says it's 42C over here in core temp. But this is pretty much, I mean, I don't think I could ask for much better. From like 35C idle to 42C load, I mean, that's just no spread, and it's not like air cooling at all with the big jumps between the load and idle. Alright, there it's running, and it's still 37, 35. And there's that. So see, the water cooler is doing a great job. Now I'll go switch. I'll go switch and load the overclock speeds. One thing I'll tell you while it's doing this is these Core 2 Duo chips. I have about 4 of them now at different types and cache speeds. And these Core 2 Duo chips, they will take an awful lot of heat. I mean, a lot more heat than anybody online ever claims they will. I've run all my Core 2 Duo chips up around mid 90 C, 80 C. I've had a couple of them for a couple years, and I've run them overclocked on air cooling at 80 C for years, and they don't melt, they don't die. It doesn't even hurt them at all. So they take a lot of heat, and it's fine, and you can run them hot, and it doesn't hurt anything. So let me show you when this boots up. I really should get an SSD for this thing. Oh Lord. Yes, I'm using Vista. Whatever. I like it for a test platform. And CPU Z, core temp. Alright, here. Here is Core 2 E310. It's the same thing as the Core 2 Duo. It's the same Wolfdale core, it's just a Xeon. 4530 megahertz. Idle is 61C. Load temp gets up like mid 80s, I think. Let me bring up IDA 64, and then I'll show you W prime. And just a moment, get all this open. Alright. Here's IDA 64, 57C, 60C idle, and then over here here, let me get Task Manager open again. There. There's W prime running. Task Manager is 100%. Runs about 76C, 83C, 81C. So some people might think this is really hot and, oh God, you're gonna fry your chip. Well, whatever, it doesn't. And I only paid 13 bucks for this chip, so I could care less if I fry it. Anyway, they're just so damn cheap, and there's a bunch of them used on eBay for anywhere between $19 and $25 now. I mean, they're just so cheap that it doesn't even matter if you run them hot and kill them anymore. Just buy another one. They're cheap, and these are great little processors. Here it's 83 over there, 78C over there, 85. It'll handle this just fine. It's 100% load. And this is perfectly stable at 4530 megahertz. I can do everything. I've been doing benchmarks all day on this and all this. Now, just a moment, let me sit this down here, and then I'll get the panel open and show you the inside. Here is the inside of this thing. So as far as it'll go. Here is my cheap Chinese water block. I got it for $25 off eBay. It seems to be running fine right now, but I am planning it to replace it with Enzotech Stealth later, about 70 bucks. I just have to save it. I save up for it. I have other things to buy first. Let's see. Here's the inside. I did not go with the Crucial RAM because it just, I don't know what it is. It doesn't run at 1066 like it's supposed to. It's unstable. I went back to my Kingston HyperX RAM that's 1066 stable. There's my ghetto rig chipset cooler. A couple notes here. Let me scoot back and get a picture of all this. You might remember I had zip ties on this originally. Well, using this thick tubing, zip ties do not hold this tubing well enough. It just can't. And I wanted to go to these worm drive metal clamps like this for extra holding power on the fittings, but I couldn't find any. I went to Walmart, I went to Home Depot, and O'Reilly's Auto, AutoZone, Walmart, Napa Auto. Nobody had the correct clamps for these things. All the clamps they had, the bands were too big, and it didn't fit into the little recessed groove behind the barb on the fittings. It was too big and went all the way down to the bottom, so I just couldn't find anything. And then finally I ended up at CarQuest, of all places, and at CarQuest they have perfect clamps that fit these barbs exactly. They fit right into the fitting. I'll show you up close in a moment, and they have no problems clamping down hard on this thick tubing and making an excellent seal on this. I really don't think anything is going to leak through it. Here, let me go in here and show you close. See, they fit right in there here from the side. Whoops. And they fit right underneath between the barb and the where the wrench goes on the bottom, and it grips all the tubing perfectly. I have a third hole on my reservoir here. I'm planning to get one of those silver bullet things and threading it in there later, and that'll give me my silver content for my loop. I'm running low on battery. Let's hurry up. And the other note that I wanted to make about this is, you'll notice I'm running one video card. Well, to run this high overclock and still function, I found out with two video cards on this 700 watt power supply, it wasn't enough. It was running over and using 715 watts, and it shut down on me when I was trying to play games. So in order to handle the overclock, I had to sacrifice one of the video cards for now. I'll end up buying a bigger power supply for it later, like a 1200 watt or something, and then I can use both cards and not worry. But for now, and let's take another look at this real quick. You can see it's still running W prime all this time, still 100% CPU load. And it's reading about 81C now, and this over here says 86, but I don't trust it. I trust IDA 64 more. I've used it longer. And yes, it's still hot, but it's still within limits. These chips have a built-in thermal shutdown at 100C, that if you reach 100C and go like 101, 102, the chip will shut the whole computer down hard, dark, and it shut off, and it'll won't let you turn it on for about 60 seconds. So and the chips don't actually physically sustain damage until about 120C. So they have a built-in protection that you can just run them as close as you can to 100C and avoid shutdown. So anything between like 80, 85, 90, even 95 would be fine, and it's not going to kill the chips. I've been trying to tell everybody this, and I even have others that I've run at 90C for about 2 years, and they don't die either. It just doesn't hurt these Intel chips at all. AMD chips usually die about 60C and can't come anywhere near this, and that's why I just love Intel chips. So anyway, that's it. This is the system for now. Oh yes, the performance on the fans real quick. Here, let me show you. I can get here and I can turn the fans up to 100%. it has virtually no effect whatsoever on the cooling. It doesn't even gain 1 C difference if the fans are at max speed. It's the exact same temperature. So I can run the fans down at 50% all the time and it still reaches peak cooling performance. So these radiators are just amazing. I don't even need a really strong fan with it, or it doesn't even have to be loud. So I would very highly suggest these radiators to people. Anybody building a CPU only water cooling loop, these radiators would be the one to go for processors. You can look in my previous build videos and you can find where I showed the model number and all the specifics on it. But yeah, I love these little radiators. They're normally about 70 to 80 bucks. But I got mine on Black Friday for $25. So I love this. This is a great setup, and I could never even dream of coming this close to this kind of clocks on air cooling. The most I've ever seen on a dual core on air cooling was about 3800 megahertz. So this is just utterly fantastic, and I'm very overjoyed with it. It's still running. It's about done. Here y'all can see what it does. Any moment now. There it is. 567.513. And let me hit the other one. I'll hit the other one. Any moment now. There it is. So that's it for now. I'm happy with my system. This is my first custom water build, but it went off without a hitch. I've had no leaks yet. It's been several days now. No leaks whatsoever. No air in the system. The system's completely bled now. I've gone totally closed loop, and I've sealed up the fill tube all the way up and sealed the cap on it and topped it off. So it's gone closed loop now, so I don't ever have any noise whatsoever. No gurgling noises, no rainfall noises. And the only thing left to do to this is I want to get a 45-degree fitting for the bottom here, and because that's a extreme bend on this tube. And let me get my light. The one other problem is due to how close these tubes are down here at the pump. Let me get like this. I cannot get a clamp on these two fittings. It's just too close together and it will never fit in there. But what I can do someday is get a 45-degree fitting and take this plug out of the top of the pump and put it on there, and then I can move the inlet hose over there, and then I can clamp both of these, the inlet and outlet, and then it'll all work great. And I don't know if y'all can tell, but I think my cheap Home Depot tubing is already starting to discolor a little bit. Whatever. Alright, I'm getting a temperature warning on my camera. Alright, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching my build view. If you've been following it, this is the end of it. I might post some updates after the fittings on February 1st. I might not. We'll see how things go and how many views I get. If people are watching this, then I'll post an update. Comment if you want to. Whatever. Bye. I have a quick update to tack on the end of this video. First off, the fittings. These fittings, this is 1/2-inch inner diameter tubing with, I think, 3/8 inch outer diameter. And all of these fittings are 1/2-inch barb fittings. And the clamps that I found at CarQuest, if anybody else is doing this build and you want to find these exact clamps that fit right, then here is the CarQuest part number. CHC C1006. This is the clamp size right here, and this is what you want to look for. They are down here in Texas. I get 4 of them, and I paid $2.14 for 4, so they're about 54 cents each. So anyway, they're cheap, and there are some water cooling websites that sell pre-made blue clamps and different colored metal clamps. They want like $5 each for them. You can just get these that do the same damn thing, and they're like 54 cents each. So you can save a lot of money there, and they're reusable. Alright, that's all. Bye. I have a quick update to tack on the end of this video. First off, the fittings. These fittings, this is 1/2 inch inner diameter tubing with, I think, 3/8 inch outer diameter. And all these fittings are 1/2 inch barb fittings. And the clamps that I found at CarQuest, if anybody else is doing this build and you want to find these exact clamps that fit right, then here is the CarQuest part number. CHC C1006. This is the clamp size right here, and this is what you want to look for. They are down here in Texas. I get 4 of them, and I paid $2.14 for 4, so they're about 54 cents each. So anyway, they're cheap, and there are some water cooling websites that sell pre-made blue clamps and different colored metal clamps. They want like $5 each for them. You can just get these that do the same damn thing, and they're like 54 cents each. So you can save a lot of money there, and they're reusable. Alright, that's all. Bye.